I got so excited about seeing the normal curve, I forgot to tell you what you're supposed to learn. We want to use the empirical rule to analyze normally distributed variables. We want to apply the standard normal distribution and z-values. Some vocabulary we're going to come across. We've just done the normal distribution and the empirical rule. We're going to talk about z-values and standard normal distribution. Let's start here with question 1. It says a normal distribution has a mean of 45.1 and a standard deviation of 9.6. Find the values that represent the middle 99.7%. 99.7% is 3 standard deviations. So in other words, I'm going to say 45.1 plus or minus 9.6 times 3. So that's 45.1 plus or minus, I take 9.6 times 3, and trying to find my just regular calculator here. Let's go back here, math, and I want my regular calculator. 3 times 9.6. I get 28.8. So it's 45.1 plus or minus 28.8. So if I take 45.1 minus 28.8, I get 16.3. So that's the lowest value you would have. And then we'll do the highest value. I'll take 45.1 plus 28.8. It'll be 73.9. So 99.7% of our data in this curve, this distribution, is going to be between 16.3 and 73.9. Let's take a look at example 2. It says a normal distribution has a mean of 45.1 with a standard deviation of 9.6. What percent of the data will be greater than 54.7? Well, let's take a look here. First off, 54.7 minus 45.1. That is going to be, we'll do that, 54.7 minus 45.1. That's going to be 9.6. So that's within 1 standard deviation. So I know within 1 standard deviation of the mean is 54.7. So if I look at my empirical rule, go back up here. So I'm going to be right here at 1 standard deviation. Well, if I take a look here, I know 68% of my data is within 1 standard deviation. So if I take 100 minus 68, I get, what, 32? Now, but I'm looking at just to the right is greater than 54.7. This is to the right and to the left, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that by 2. So 16% of my data is going to be greater than 54.7. Let's take a look at another question here. It says students counted the number of candles in 100 small packages. They found that the number of candles per package was normally distributed with a mean of 23 candles per package and a standard deviation of 1 piece of candy. Let's say candies, not candles. About how many packages have between 22 and 24 candies? Well, if we think here, if I have 23 and I do 1 standard deviation, that'd be plus or minus 1. So that would be 22 to 24 would be within 1 standard deviation. So 1 standard deviation is going to be 68% of my data, according to my empirical rule. I go back to my empirical rule, I can see it right here. One standard deviation is 68%. Let's take a look at question example 4. What's the probability the package selected at random has more than 25 candies? Well, 25 candies is going to be 2 standard deviations, right? I'll use the correct term, or the correct symbol for standard deviation here. So in other words, I take 100 minus 95, because the empirical rule says 95% are within 2 standard deviations. So 5% are more or less than 2 standard deviations from the mean, but I just want more than, so I divide by 2. So I'm going to get 2.5%. And there we have it.